Since I've been living in Sweden, I've been learning Swedish as well, which has been really fun, but of course that has an impact on my ability to remember Spanish words. What we're going to do right now is a tag. So I've got a number of questions in front of me on the screen down here. The tag that we're following today is called the Get to Know Me tag, which seems quite fitting for the first episode of my podcast. And I will kind of try and accredit these to the sources that they came from when I do a different tag. But this week's tag is kind of a combination of questions that I found from different sources. So I haven't stolen anyone's format, I hope I'm just, borrowing from people. So thank you if you recognise questions that you created in this list. So the first question for the Get to Know Me tag is, where did you grow up? So as I've already alluded to, I'm from the UK. I'm from the southeast UK in a county called Kent, for those of you familiar with the British Isles. For those of you that have no idea where that is, and you've only heard of Liverpool, Manchester, London, Birmingham, those kind of places, it's about half an hour below London, so right down in the southeast corner of the UK, just the part that has sea on three corners, if you're looking me up on Google Maps right now. And something that those of us that are from Kent often say is that we live kind of halfway between London and France, so it is quite common when there's not a pandemic going on that we jump across on the train or on the boat to go across to France for the day and go for lunch or something. So that's a really nice part about living in Kent. And although the UK isn't known for its tropical weather, another running kind of joke or stigma about Kent is that because we're in the southeast, we're closest to the continent of Europe, and therefore we have the most, tropical temperatures, which probably results in, 2 days less of rain a year, so it doesn't really make a lot of difference. But you know what I mean, if it's going to be warm in the UK, that's probably the area that's going to happen. So I live on the Sunbelt, you could say, the Florida of the UK. Okay, I definitely shouldn't say that again. And what year were you born? So I was born in 1995, for those of you into your zodiac signs. That is the year of the pig, which figures actually, because as you're going to get to know over the next few episodes, love to eat, love snacks. It's of course going to feature in this episode. And where do I currently live? I live in Sweden. Good question. I live on the east coast of Sweden, a couple of hours outside of Stockholm. That's all I guess I can say about that. And do I speak any languages, and how well? Well, I speak English, hopefully to a good level. That is my native language, my mother tongue, if you will. But at school, I learned French and Spanish. French, I can't remember barely anything of, so I apologise for that. My French is awful. I cannot even really construct a sentence anymore. Spanish, I learned for only 3 years, but comes back to me a bit more naturally. There's words and phrases that I can pick up, but again, would not claim that I would be able to have a conversation in Spanish. Since I've been living in Sweden, I've been learning Swedish as well, which has been really fun, but of course that has an impact on my ability to remember Spanish words, because we were actually in Spain a couple of summers ago, and as I say, although in the past I would kind of default and remember some of those words, that is not the case anymore. So I'm probably just look like someone that has no idea what they're doing when I go to a Spanish restaurant now, because I just gurgle out some sort of like Swedish mixed with English mixed with Spanish sentence, which means nothing to them. But yeah, as I say, English and then Swedish I would probably say. I'm not fluent, but I do talk Swedish both in my day-to-day life and in my job. And I've actually already uploaded a video about me speaking Swedish, so you can go check that out if you're interested. And what about my favourite Netflix show? That's really difficult. Netflix, even before the pandemic, have been really great about pumping out so much content. Every week you have a new favourite show. But the things that spring to mind as, like long-term favourites, Sex Education, I would really, really recommend. If you've not seen that yet, you need to go and check it out. Bridgerton we watched, really, really enjoyed as well. You is another favourite, I would say. They're kind of the three that come to mind straight away, but I really enjoy the Netflix documentary series, they've just done the one about the Cecil Hotel, there was the one that they did about Tiger King. I love all of it, but yeah, I would probably say Sex Education is my favourite show if I had to choose just one. Really looking forward to the next season, just wish they would announce the return date already. And what about my favourite artists to stream on Spotify? My number one every year on the Spotify Unwrapped is always Lauv. If you don't know him, you need to go and check him out. Absolutely love his music, have done for a number of years. Been to see him in concert once, actually planned to go a second time, and then this pandemic happened. And then apart from that, other favourite Spotify artists, that's hard. Right now, really loving Bruno Mars. He's been a favourite for a number of years too. And then what about my favourite film? I always find this is a really difficult question. Am I the only one who can never think of a film that's their favourite? If I had to choose one right off the top of my head, I default to when I was a teenager. I really love the Hunger Games series because I love the books. And unlike, lots of people, I don't look too deep into the detail of, what if they transferred over from the book to the film. Is the film better or worse than the book? I just take the film at face value, and I think they did such a great job with that series. Really gripping, particularly the second film, Catching Fire. I thought that was really, really great. But I just love that series in general, so that would probably be my answer. Have I got any other Hunger Games fans? Let me know down below. And then, have I been to college or university? Yes, I have been to university back in the UK before I moved out to Sweden. And I studied geography, human geography if you want to be very specific, which lots of people have no idea what that is or what it means. But basically, human geography is, the way that we describe it is, take everything that you think about when you think about geography, scrap it, and then you've got to human geography. So we don't do any of the rocks or the water or the weather or glaciers or any of that stuff. We basically talk about society, civilization, globalization. It's kind of like the crossroads, I would say, between like politics and maybe like sociology and literature studies. Is everything kind of merged into one. I don't know if it really translates very well as a subject in other countries, because here in Sweden, for example, it's not very normal to have a geography program. When I'm telling people at job interviews or friends here what I studied, I usually say like political science or like state science, because that's the closest equivalent. So it'd be interesting to know if you guys also have that study in your country or not. And then, do I have a partner? Yes, I do. I'm not saying anything more about that for now, because that is going to come up again as a topic in a later episode. So yes, I do is all you need to know for now. So yeah, so that was the tag. I hope you got to know me a little bit better. If there's a tag that you think it would be fun for me to do in the podcast, just let me know down below and maybe we can do it in a future episode. Hey guys, you've just watched a highlight clip from last week's Just a Brit Abroad podcast episode. The podcast is released here on my YouTube channel once every 2 weeks. If you want to subscribe so you're ready for the next episode that comes next week, that would be great, and turn on that bell so that you're ready as soon as a new video comes out, you'll be notified. And if you want to check out the rest of the fun and games that are happening in this week's Just a Brit Abroad podcast, make sure to check my channel. It's up there already. You can see the episode in its entirety instead of just a small clip like you've seen today. But either way, thank you for sticking around and I hope you enjoyed. Bye guys.